Hello, this is Dr. Budweiser, and I'm coming to you directly from the Wiser Living headquarters, and I have a special topic for you today, something that a lot of people have issues with, but they never do anything about them, and that's dealing with your intestinal tract. You know, it's about 25 to 30 feet long, depending on what book you read, and that's a long distance to have foodstuffs that are just accumulating inside of that area, which eventually makes its way to your bloodstream, which causes problems on down the line where you can have some type of chronic disease, or you have headaches, or just on the light side, headaches and nausea, sometimes vomiting, because the toxins that are in your colon can cause a myriad of problems. And when I say that, I think when we talk about fecal matter accumulation, a lot of times it accumulates and it creates an environment where you don't have regular bowel movements. And that's why I want to talk about colonic irrigation. And I know there are people that do this. You can go to a specialist that can do a colonic irrigation for you. You can go to the internet. You see a lot of information on it. But there's something that you can actually do at home if and when you need it. And today I just want to show you how it's done before I tell you why it's done, or at least share with you why it's done. When we look at colonic irrigation, you're going to need a tube that's attached to something, a bag that has tepid water in it, or room temperature water in it, in order to just process all of that fecal material that won't move on its end. Another thing you're going to need is a little instrument like this, if you can call this an instrument. It's a bag, and so you can fill it up with water. The water goes inside, and then this tube will go inside of it. You put that on, and also you're going to need an insertion point, and this little guy here put this on the end, and you insert it inside. So you have you fill this up with water. Some people like to put other things in it, like Epsom salt, or even some people use coffee. But if you go on the internet, you'll see pluses and minuses of that. I think you should start out with the water first, and then if you want to move into something else, you can do that as well. Okay, so why would we want to do a colonic irrigation? Why do you want to clean your colon out? Well, I said the first point is because things aren't moving. You should have about 4 meals in your intestinal tract at any one time. The next time you eat a meal, that first meal should be coming out. You eat the next meal, the second meal that should be coming out. You eat another meal, the third meal should be coming out. So there should always be this continuous moving of material, foodstuffs going through your intestine, but you should not have more than 4 meals inside of your intestinal tract. Now, why would the fecal matter accumulate in the first place? Well, the number one issue would be stress. Stress causes the peristaltic contractions to kind of slow down until you start getting enough meals in it where it has to come out because of the weight of the meals. But stress is the number one reason. Another reason is because busy lifestyle. We're all busy, and sometimes we have the urge to go, but we ignore it. We'll say, well, I'll wait until I get to a place where I feel good eliminating, or which usually is at home. So you wait, but waiting is not good. Another reason is because we eat diets that are high in gluten and dairy. Not to say that dairy is bad, not to say that gluten is bad, but if you're not having constant, steady bowel movements every time you eat, when you eat, you should have a bowel movement in 20 to 30 minutes, 45 tops. And that hardly ever happens with people. I know I see people that haven't had a bowel movement in 2 or 3 days, and they see that as normal, and it's been like that for years. That's not good. Red meat or processed foods. Now, red meat is not bad, but it's when it causes the contractions to slow down. When you're not having bowel movements normally, you need to make a change. There's something that's not working there. Dairy, once again, dairy is good. It's not bad. It's good, especially if it's coming from grass-fed cows. Obviously, you can have goat milk or other animals that you can get milk from, but it needs to be live milk, not this dead stuff that we typically buy. And then, well, I won't get into the government or anything like that, so I don't want to get in trouble. Another reason why there's fecal matter accumulation is because low intake of water. If I were to group what I've just said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would say stress is number 1. Low intake of water would be number 2. We don't drink enough water. And even, a lot of people, when I ask them, how much water have you drank? And they'll say, well, I've drank this many liters, or I fill this bottle up twice. And so I drink a lot of water. You don't. If your body's not able to absorb it so it can create an environment where you're having normal bowel movements, create an environment where toxins are being expelled from your system on a routine basis, then you're not getting enough water in your system. What about vegetables? Many people that are constipated have a low intake of veggies. They just, it's just, sometimes they're veggies. You ask a kid, has he had any vegetables? He or she may say that, yeah, I had French fries. And they look at that as a vegetable. Well, it's not. And then for you grown-ups out there, high alcohol intake, high caffeine intake will slow down that intestinal, contractions. And so if you don't have the contractions going on, then you're going to have constipation. It's going to be, basically, you're going to have a slow exit of foodstuffs that should be moving through. It dumped all the nutrients off, and then what's left should be coming out of your system. And so when you look at this, colonic irrigation or colon hydrotherapy it makes the digestive system more effective. It removes the things that should be removed when it should be removed. It's not, you have so much food and it's liquefied where you have diarrhea, or it's not liquefied and you may have headaches from it. You may have the constipation where you have, abdominal pain. There's a lot of things that can happen as a result of the food not moving. Colonic irrigation, or your intestines moving properly, maintains regularity. It prevents constipation. And so you don't have to do this all the time, but it's a jump start to get you active, get that intestinal tract active, so you will have the wellness that you're looking for. And when your intestinal tract is wide open and it's moving like it's supposed to, you have increased energy. If you're falling asleep all the time, if you're having headaches, you should look at your colon first. Look to your colon first and ask yourself, am I having multiple bowel movements a day? Because when you have increased energy, your body's actually detoxing what? It's detoxing toxins, and it's refocusing the energy to that area. Because when you eat, most of the energy goes to your abdominal area so it can make sure everything's working properly and it can get the fuel supply that it needs. Usually when you don't eat and your colon is going through a fast, or you're going through a fast, actually the colon's going through the fast, guess what? Your energy is focused in your brain. So if you're taking a test, don't eat. Now, it also, colonic irrigation also increases the body's absorption of vitamins and minerals. So now, if you're increasing the absorption of your vitamins and minerals, you are not wasting your money. But make sure that your vitamins and minerals are plant-based. Not the oil and coal tar that they make this up, those synthetic vitamins. I'm not talking about those, because those alone can not only cause constipation, but it can cause chronic diseases later on in life. It improves concentration. Improves concentration, which I talked about. If there's no food here, most of the energy is going to be here. So it improves concentration. It kickstarts weight loss. Kickstarts weight loss. Think about this. We're not talking about, typically with weight loss, we talk about we need to be a certain size, we need to be a certain weight. No, your body knows exactly what size you should be and what weight you should be. So if your intestinal tract is functioning properly, you're not going to have to worry about carrying excess weight in that area because it's functioning properly. It decreases the risk of colon cancer. There's a lot of articles on both sides of this. All I know is if you have the right intestinal flora in your intestinal tract, you're not going to have to worry about polyps. You're not going to have to worry about, toxins boring into your colon walls, creating issues like diverticulitis and diverticulosis and, that gut syndrome, that leaky gut syndrome. All of these words, they create an environment for people to make money. And I'm telling you that if you have your intestinal tract functioning properly, you're not going to have to worry about that. It increases fertility. Now, I know most people haven't even heard of that before, but it does increase fertility. Why? Because when your intestinal tract is functioning properly and you don't have excess meals, like some people have up to 20 meals because you see the gut, that puts pressure on the uterus. It also creates an environment where the toxins will affect the egg and sperm, all coming from your intestinal tract. But we never trace it back to that. So make sure when you have a meal, make sure your intestinal tract is moving. It's moving a meal out of that system within, I'm going to give you an hour, at least up to an hour. You should be going to the bathroom and having a bowel movement. Having a great moving intestinal tract. With colonic irrigation, it maintains pH balance. It maintains pH balance where? In the bloodstream. Because how are the nutrients getting there? It goes into your small intestine. A lot of those nutrients are moved into the transported into the bloodstream. So if you're backed up with 5, 6, 10 meals, then you're going to get what I call dirty blood, because you're going to get nutrients plus that dirty stuff into your bloodstream. So it maintains the pH balance in the bloodstream, and it also maintains a whole body and wellness. A whole body and wellness. Just that statement right there means that your body is going to be in a position, in an environment of wellness, which is a everyday thing. It's not like health. You take something, you do a colonic irrigation, and then you're open up now, and so you go back to eating the same foods that you ate that gave you the constipation in the first place. You don't want to do that. So stop eating, food-like substances. It looks good, it smells good, it tastes good, but it's nutrient dead. It's nutrient depleted. Because I don't want you to do this every day. I don't want you to have to do this once a week or once a month. Some people do this, 2 or 3 times a week. That's not what this is for. This is to give you a jump start, a kick start, getting your intestinal tract in the right frame of mind, so to speak, getting your intestinal tract in the right movement, getting your intestinal tract where it's accepting that it only needs 4 meals. So your intestinal tract that used to be this size will start reducing that area there, which cause that peristalsis, that peristaltic contraction to go on forward and forward and forward, and you get wellness from that. So this is all I want to say on that, but I want you to really think about it. Play this video over again and again and again. Why? Because I want you to improve your concentration. I want you to decrease your risk of colon cancer. I want you to learn, or at least become aware. I want your awareness to be heightened, so to speak, that if you do this on a regular basis and then supplement when you eat your salads, put some oil on it, oil and vinegar. It will coat the intestinal wall, so the stuff that shouldn't be there will slide out. Your body's going to let you know, I need to go, I need to eliminate. And then if it's coated with a nice oil, then it will slide out and you will have your health. So remember this. Let your food be your medicine, and let your medicine be your food. This is Dr. Budweiser, and we'll see you next time.